Welcome to Vox Scream, a Kill Team podcast where we aim to help players of all skill levels supercharge their game and separate the signal from the noise. I'm Mark Meyer, joined by Kill Team heavyweights George Pratt and Joe Gallo. We're coming to you from the Triangle region in North Carolina. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everyone. Very exciting episode of Vox Stream for you today. Lots to talk about. Going to start with a quick thank you to our listeners. Joe and I just drove back from Orlando yesterday, and so we're recording this about 7 hours before we're going to release it. So it's not going to be heavily edited. So thank you so much for your understanding.
Listen, I suggested that we record the podcast while they were driving.
Which would have been even worse audio. So, make sure George is damned for his opinions that are bad.
Listen, I've done it.
Yes,
man, and I was like hardly worth a damn on that drive, dude. I was tired. For sure.
We had some good conversations though. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a good time. But we need to move on to the important things. I'm joined on the podcast today by my friend George, as always, and welcoming for the first time Mr. Joseph Gallo, Golden Ticket winner. How's it going, guys?
Hey, let's go. All right. 1 out of 3. We got to get it 3 out of 3. We're working on it.
Hit those air horns.
Yes. Yes, I won my golden ticket at this event. I came in second place in front of you, Mr. Ben of Battle Brothers tabletop fame. While he did come in first, he already had his ticket. So thus the ticket went to me.
Yeah, and just to clarify for the listeners, we are of course talking about the results from the Crucible tournament down at CritCon in Orlando, Florida. 42-player grand tournament run by the fine folks at Florida United Kill Team. Shout out to everybody that we met down there. Everybody who I played over the weekend was an absolute stud in terms of skill and sportsmanship. It was such a blast.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was a 6-round event, which is not a small event. In fact, that's abnormal for a lot of Kill Team events. So this was a quite literally, I think, the first grand host new TAC Ops, because that was the big thing. We did we did the TAC Ops the day they came out, the new TAC Ops, and we used the new teams.
As well as the new Crit Ops. We're definitely going to be talking. We didn't get a chance last week to talk about the new approved Ops 2025 Crit Ops. We're going to cover those today. We're going to talk about the ones that we played specifically at this event first, and we'll move on to the ones that we weren't able to play later. Yes. But yeah, I mean, just before we get into any of that, Joe, just any like big sort of like broad stroke ideas about the run, how'd everything go? I mean, you took Aquilons.
Yes.
I actually wanted to hear your guys' thoughts, because I think in the two episodes before this one, both of you were like, I don't know what to bring to Crucible. And I was like, Joe, bring Aquilons because they fit your playstyle. And Mark, bring Raveners because they fit your playstyle. And it seemed to work out. They seem to fit your playstyle. So I want to hear your guys' opinions on that.
Yes. So I always knew Aquilons definitely hit where I am like gameplay wise with controlled aggression and stuff like that. Particularly, I think the extra body on top of the hot drop change just put their consistency through the roof. And I think they're probably the best shooting team in the game right now, to be honest. They're just so consistently accurate when they need to be. Not to mention they just dominate, I think, on the new Volcus boards because they are just so densely packed, and Aquilons loves when you're able to drop and shoot quick and, be able to be in those buildings doing what you need to do. I think that I went into this event with the idea I was going to be playing a ton of Deathwatch, Canoptic, Raveners, and I actually really didn't. I only played 1 round of Deathwatch, and then I played Ben's Canoptic. And I went undefeated. I had 1 tie versus Canoptic.
Tied the winner of the tournament.
Yes, I tied the winner of the tournament.
Round 2 of the tournament. It was
actually the last round of the day, round 3.
Round 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the highlight of that day. But I knew Aquilons were strong. I had been watching, and I'll shout out David Eli. I don't know how you say his name last name.
David Eli.
David Eli.
He has been pretty consistently playing Aquilons, and we had been out in Virginia playing, and I was watching him play, and we had played once or twice, and I was noticing things how he was playing that I was picking up on, and I was like, well, I think I know what he's going for, but I think if I could do this too, if I adjust a few things. So truly shout out to him, because he actually kind of inspired me to like take some of the things I learned from those games and apply them, and that's what I did, honestly. I think it's, doesn't need to be said. Being able to keep 5 models off the board is very strong. And being able to put them basically in over your opponent's half of the board consistently is really strong. Some standout plays during that run. I was able to drop the Grenadier into a building and drop a stun grenade into the back line of Higher Tech Circle and stunned 3 guys, and I did it again because he was playing very cautious. And I will say, out of 7 stun grenade rolls, I made 2 of them, which was bad.
Yeah, stun grenades, better than average.
But the ones that I did get were on the Apprentech, and I think his leader, if I recall correctly, which were the important ones. But my point is that like they don't even necessarily need to go loud to do what they need to do, particularly being able to drop stun grenades and then also score flank when they need to is really good, particularly because they out-activate, I think, everybody in the game outside of
the horde teams.
Yeah.
Outside of, like,
two
teams.
They're at 11 activations now, which is the second highest in the game, only to a few teams, I believe. Pathfinders, Brood Brothers can both get 12 activations, and there's not a whole...
Deathcore can get 12.
Yeah, Deathcore can get up to 12.
Cults, if you don't kill a bunch of devotees, they can end up with like 11 or 12.
I think they're game. 11. If I think I did the math on that yesterday.
9 at the start.
Something like that.
Yeah. But they certainly aren't out activated by many people. And, it's interesting, Joe, one thing that we talked about a little bit, I mean, obviously, you took flank in, I think, most, if not all of your games. And
I took 5 out of 6 games. And then when I took retrieval on, I got 6 points on it.
Weren't you poo-pooing that last episode? You're like, this is the worst tack-up of the game.
I forget. Yeah, okay. So, fucking...
Proceeds to max it out in the one game.
Ink on my face. All right, okay. Let's talk about that briefly.
Well, I was just going to say one more quick point about Aquilons before we get into some of that, is that I think now that they have access to these different tac ops that don't necessarily involve mission actions, it really opens up so much play for you, just because you can basbasically make any operative you want 3 APL for the mission instead of for your TAC op.
They can focus on killing things. It's wild. And even with that being said, I will say I struggled quite a bit into Canoptic, and I will say Ben had some unlucky rolls quite a few times. That particularly when he was trying to kill a model on 8 wounds with 4 on 4s. And with accurate 2 and missed both of them twice, I think, even with rerolls. So, like, there was a few things in that game that, like, went in my favor. But to his favor, 2 primary things I forgot that game was I forgot that Progenia also wipes out APL modifiers. So I had a ton of models stunned when they didn't need to be. And then also, he was just spiking real hard towards the end for, like, blast attacks and stuff like that. So it was a very even keel game in terms of dice and stuff like that. And he discovered how hard it was to deny flank. But basically the way that you deny flank, and only one person did this, which was Tomas, is that basically as long as your toe is on the line for my territory within, then you're technically denying it. But I have to be wholly within. So like, for example, if I have 3 models wholly within, and he has 4 models towing over the line on my side, that's technically denying it. But that's very hard to do, surprisingly, especially if I drop 3 guys into your deployment, and then maybe I give them +1 APL on top of that. Because Aquilons, I don't know if y'all haven't heard this, are very good at killing models when they get into their range. So that's what I took advantage of. And I scored pretty much... 5 points on it every time, minus the second day, because I forgot you have to flip flank for strategic gambits.
You have to reveal it the first time you do it.
So I ended up only scoring 3 points on it on one game because I forgot to reveal. Or, sorry, 4 points because the TO ruled that you could still control flank previously even if the card wasn't flipped. So basically, that on turning point 3, because I controlled that flank previously, even if I didn't score the point on it, I would score 2 points on a third turning point, and then 2 more, etc. So that game between Christopher Suarez on Hand of the Archon ended up only being a 2-point swing my direction. And I'll tell you what, that's what I was going to talk about is like, I got a lot of teams that I was very fucking scared of towards the end.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Hand of the Archon just, before the extra body, like, I didn't give a shit about Aquilons when I played Hand. It was just double kill city.
Yeah.
Yes. And that happened quite a bit towards the end of our game. But George will be proud of this. I killed his leader, turning point 1.
Hell yeah! Let's go.
So, in Christopher's defense, he wasn't particularly familiar with Aquilons, even though I explained everything. I got him with a beacon shift on ITD, and I shifted over into one of the. It's that room, the ITD that has like the L shape and the big room, and then the smaller room. I got him on the L shape one where I just moved it over and I dropped my Melta within 2, killed his leader. And I actually baited him in that turning point as well by dropping a trooper right where his sniper was. And I'm like, okay, sure, you're going to kill the sniper, but like either you're going to run away and I'm going to dominate this room next turning point, or you're going to stand there. And he stood there and I dropped the turret grenade, blast 2.
Just blast off. No.
I killed one and I did no damage to the sniper. So,
yeah, that sounds about right.
It was fine. But yeah, it was very much, that was kind of the hardest game for me, because like I fucked myself, because I just didn't read the fucking card, which in all fairness, I didn't discover that until that game. So apologies to my opponents for that.
Well, I mean, that's the sort of stuff. It's like, that's one of the inherent risks of like playing the new approved ops in a tournament the very same day it comes out. Like, I think everybody was, expecting to make some mistakes along the way, right?
Yeah. And immediately after I discovered it, I revealed it the time that I needed to. So that was unfortunate. So the times that I did score 5 on it, I technically didn't reveal it for my first 2 games. So whatever, we were all working out the kinks on the new TAC ops.
I think sportsmanship says, hey, we're all doing the new stuff. I'll help you. You help me with the reminder.
Yeah, and that's right. And that was the big one with me, my game with Ben is I was trying to explain to him how flank worked because he didn't quite understand the way it worked, and that was part of the reason why I did well in that game. And I think now that he understands it, honestly, I don't think I'm going to win that game again. But maybe, who knows? Because it's hard to deny it's Canoptic.
It's so interesting because I also played Battle Brothers, Ben. I played him round 4, first day of game 2. And I think that if we ran that back, I could win. I just made so many mistakes in that game.
Yeah.
Like, I had like my game plan of what I wanted to do with the tunnel. And, just before I kind of get into my spiel to answer George's questions, yeah, Raveners absolutely did fit my playstyle and had a blast playing them. Very, very fun team to play. In that game against Canoptek, what I think the thing that I messed up on the most was I just kind of chose the wrong units for the job. Like I had my tunnel set up in a way to control the middle and then like one of the side rooms, like the side room that had his home objective. I took install device, plant device, whatever it's called. And I was hoping to get in there, plant the device, go away, and it was a loot as well. So I'm hoping to just kind of like popcorn up and down, do mission actions. And I ended up getting a little greedy and tried to kill somebody, and I would have gotten the kill, but I did the dice math wrong. It's the sort of thing where if I struck with a hit instead of a crit first, I would have been able to get the kill cleanly. But it's a mistake that I have seen other people make, and now that I've made it, hopefully I can just remember to do my dice math correctly.
Yeah, that was the other
thing is that like I chose the Crusher to go, or not the Crusher, the Wrecker to go and be like on him by himself in a room. As like, oh, he's strong, he can go cover that room by himself. Really, if I'm going to send any Ravener to go and try and kill like a Canoptek operative, it has to be the Wrecker because it can just deal so much damage.
It's the only thing you've got a reasonable hope of taking down one of those walking turrets.
I mean, that, and like, I tried to fight with the Fell Talon My thought being it's just like the poison's going to help offset the healing. I've got lethal 5 and shock, so it's going to be enough stuff to hopefully where I can get a couple crits, get rid of some of his hits. And it almost worked. It almost worked.
Yeah. But so outside of me with not understanding that I had to reveal flank, when I was scoring it the right way, it was doing very well for me. Funniest thing that happened all day in my final round with Tomas. Love that guy. Played him at Nova. I think I may have mentioned that. He was on higher attack again. I took flank. I think I actually only got 4 points in that because he actually was able to put his toe on the point. But the important part is I knew he was going to take martyrs because it's really good for Necrons.
Yeah.
So you know what I did? I didn't kill a single Necron on the points.
I was looking at your games. I was like, all right, let's see. And I looked at your last game and I was like, kill up 0. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened here? How did you win and not kill a thing?
I did not kill. No, so I killed one of the I killed the sniper, but you need to kill 2 to get 1 point. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So this is, and let me rewind. Tomas is a great player. I've never had any issues with him as a player. Hyrotech is really fucking stupid. And the fact that this is the way that this game had to go for me to have a chance should tell people that we need to adjust the way Necrons work, specifically Hyrotech. The fact
reanimation protocols just sort of break a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
because literally, the fact I had 2 models left by the end of the game. Like I was like, cool. I have more bodies. He's gonna have to spend time reanimating guys. So I just went and did my thing with flank. I made sure I dominated on the tac op, which was transmission. So I was just I was doing the vet guard thing. I was throwing bodies onto points, making sure that I out-controlled him because he was only ever really able to send 1 body at a time. And 4 is greater than 3. So just keep putting guys on the points. So, even if he didn't transmit, whatever, I'll just wait till the second body gets on there, transmit, looks who's scoring 2 points on transmit. And that's what kept me, and that's what won that game for me. And I hate that it feels cheesy because it is, but that's how you have to play against certain teams.
And that's such an interesting point that you make, Joe, because I think we've talked about this same sort of thing with other teams before, right? Like, oh, you cannot play against Raveners the same way that you would play against 30 of the 40 other teams, yes. Right? Same thing with Gellerpox. We talked about that so much last year. Felgor. There are people who complain about playing against Felgor, and then there's people who know how to play against Felgor.
Yes.
That is such an interesting point. It's not that Hyrotech is like some unbeatable monster. Obviously, they have extremely good rules and are very good. I think they're even better now at the new approved ops pack than the old one. But
they straight up
have to approach it. Yeah, totally. But you just have to approach it differently.
Yes, I mean, I think that for me, so real quick. Round 1, I was into Jaegers. Not really much to talk about that game. He was fairly new with Jaegers. I took Retrieval, scored 6 points, just waited out. I killed enough dwarves, out-activated. Last thing of the 4th turning point. Drop, retrieve, drop, retrieve, drop, retrieve. So basically just scored 6 points with it in 2 turning points with that. It was 20-12. Second game was into Death Watch, and it was on Tomb World. Fun fact about Tomb World, one of the maps is completely cut off by a breach wall, and that entire flank is just one big room. So I was like, okay. He put 1 guy on that side, and he went, all right, so if I kill him, all I have to do is put 2 guys on that side, and unless he swings his entire team into this little fourth of the room, which you only have 5 bodies, so you can't really do that, I'm just going to score 5 on flank. That's exactly what happened. And that game was 12-7. I had a lot of very low scoring games because a part of the new tac op thing is that if you pick a bad tac op now, you're very likely scoring 1 or 2, maybe even 0 on it. And this was another game my opponent scored 0 on it because he took route.
And if you pick a good tac op, you're maybe only scoring 5.
And my opponent used it. If I had taken Plant Banner, I would have done much better. And he's right. He would have done much better if he had taken Plant Banner. because I don't want to get anywhere near him unless I have my gun to do so,
Well, I think that's one of the things that works so well for your run is I think that right now there are a lot of teams that have access to good tac ops, but it's still hard to make the choice about what the right tac op is. Whereas with Aquilons, they have access to plenty of good tac ops, but it's extremely obvious what the right choice is.
Yes, 100%. Flank and retrieval are just honestly, I think, the two that really need to be picked for them. And please don't forget, like me, reveal it in Turning Point 2 so you don't screw yourself out of points, because that almost lost you my Hand of the Archon game. Yeah, and I think so. We did. Then we went to Canoptic.
Well,
that was
let's slow it down just a little bit, Joe. You went over something kind of quickly there. Round 2, we actually played one of the new crit ops. So round 2, we played reboots.
Well, you played 3 crit ops, right?
Yeah. So we ended up playing 3 of the 6 new crit ops in this tournament. Round 2, we played reboots. For those who don't know, reboots, when setting up the battle, you want to number the objective markers 1 through 3. And then at the start of the gambit step of each strategy phase, each player secretly selects one of the objective markers by putting a dice, or rather a number of dice in their hand that corresponds with the objective marker's number. Then they reveal their selection simultaneously. If both players select the same one, that objective marker is inert during the turning point. And if not, the objective marker that neither player selected is inert. And then you can reboot the inert objective marker for 2 action points. And at the end of each turning point, it's, let's see. It is score of EP.
Right?
No, at the end of each turning point after the first, for each objective friendly marker that friendly operatives control, score 1 VP. So it's basically control.
And you ignore the inert objective marker.
Yes. Dude, this mission is fucking brutal for 5 operative teams. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. 2 action points to reboot.
The Aegis had no effect. The Death Watch Aegis had 0 effect the entire game because he had to babysit 1 point. It was so bad. So what I really think my opponent should have done is completely, I think, ignored his home objective and just bummed down rushed the middle and mine. And that probably would have been more effective. Bear in mind.
Yeah, but then the counter for that is you always pick the middle objective, right? On turn 2.
Well, you can only pick the inert once.
No.
You can pick the same objective every turn if you want.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of State Claim, I think.
You are thinking of State Claim. We'll get to that later. We also played that one.
Yes.
But
so basically you can always, so for the way it works is that for the one you didn't pick, your opponent didn't pick, that one is not inert. And if you pick the same one, that one is the inert one, right?
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting mission.
Let me ask you this, Joe. Did you, when you were doing it, did you just both pick the middle objective like each time?
No. So I'm trying to remember. For the first one, I picked his because I knew he was probably, if he picked mine or if he picked the middle, that's fine for me, because I can just drop somebody onto the point and they can just do it, right? It's not a big deal. Or I can basically just use somebody who's in the back line, give them +1 APL and just get there, right? Because I have the ability to do it. If I remember correctly, I think he picked mine, or he might have picked the middle. I don't remember which one he picked. All I know is that he ended up having to do it twice in the game, where his ended up being inert twice, and that really hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I was playing next to you, I think, when that game happened, and it was so stark where it was, 3 separate rooms and he was in 2 of them and you were in 1 of them. And so it was like he had to do that, right? It's just like such a low percentage chance of it just being on your objective. All you have to do is just not pick your objective.
Yeah, and I just stuck a light barricade right in the middle. And it's like, okay, well, now he's going to have to breach the walls. Though I will say, Deathwatch is really good on Tomb World because they can very often breach for free or breach for 1, which is really good. But here's the thing. I can also do that because I'm Aquilons, because I have the Melta, the Grenadier, the mission action for free. Like,
that's such an interesting question, George. Do things like that stack? Like, let's say you get a mission action for one less, and then let's say you also have something like breach that lets you perform the blow open the wall mission action for one less. Does that stack on top of each other to do it for ultimately 2 less AP? You're muted.
Unless it specifically says this does not stack, it stacks.
Nice.
Yeah, so the only things that really specifically say they don't stack is APL modifiers.
Right.
So
and
that
like
would be
accurate
interesting.
to accurate too.
So theoretically, what I could have done that game then actually, and that actually would have been pretty fucking devastating, because I had the marker right by the breach wall. I could have dropped the Aquilon guy within whatever control range of the breach point, and I guess done it for free with the mission action because he has, and plus because it's the multigun.
I haven't looked at the breach rules enough.
I believe it's just. I think it's just if you have piercing 2, you do it for 1 less. I know that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Mm. Well,
yeah, so then if you do that,
and
it counts as a mission action as well, so do it for 1 less plus the breach, that's for free. So if I've already dropped within control range, that means I still have an APL left. So if for some reason you've left somebody in front of me, well, I'm going to also melt you on top of that. So that is cool tech. And you can also just do this with the Grenadier as well. For the, which I guess, how does that work? It's limited 1. If you use that,
it's still on the card.
It says specifically if it's on its data card.
Yeah, it's on the data card.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's, so same thing you do with the Grenadier.
Go around in a tournament and fucking Sharpie out all the piercing 2 weapons in every data card.
that was the other thing we're trying to figure out. If the Geomancer, because he has piercing crits too.
I think it specifically says that piercing crits 2 applies. I think it specifically says that on the breach rule. I'm going to look it up right now just to be sure, though.
Yeah, so because that's really good, because I was just thinking about that on the way home. But anyways, so yeah, that game ended up being really low scoring. We already talked a little bit about my game with Ben and how kind of part of the problem, too, is that he also misunderstood the way that power cells worked. That basically, if you're standing...
Real quick, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here. We played energy cells, which is another munition in round 3. And for energy cells, that one's fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah, energy cells is
I'll
interesting.
read this one here.
Please.
So operatives can perform the pickup marker action on each objective marker, but every turning point, it costs a different thing. So in turn 2, it
3.
Costs 3 APL to perform the pickup marker action.
That cannot be reduced at all.
Can't be reduced, cannot be free. On turn 3, it costs 2 APL to pick up markers.
Same thing, cannot be free.
Be reduced, can't be free. And on turn 4, it's a normal pickup, and it can be reduced and it can be free. And it has the normal, like, if you're carrying an objective marker, you cannot set up more than 6 inches away for teleportation or fly or whatever.
And then if you control more, you get a VP.
In order to score it, at the end of each turning point, if friendly operatives control more objective markers, not picked up, you score a victory point. And at the end of the battle, for every objective marker you have that your operatives are carrying, they have to be carrying, not control, you score a victory point. So it's possible to, if you score 6 points on this, your opponent by definition will score nothing. Because you have controlled more objectives and then carried them all. So this is one is like, if you are scoring, you are taking the only scoring slot for that turn from your opponent.
Yep.
Because the max you can only score 2 VP on it between 2 and 3, and that can only go to one or the other person.
Yeah, and you can also, because any objective you're carrying, you're also controlling. On turn 4, you can still score the first condition by controlling more objectives.
Correct.
So Ben ended up kind of misunderstanding the way that worked. I think he thought it was just for each you control. So I think that was kind of a big thing that ended up making it be a tie there. Also, this is really annoying. He had a bug left on 2 wounds, and I shot him with the sniper rifle, and I didn't kill it. Which was
get fucked.
That straight up tied me the game. I should have just shot with the pistolier. I don't know why I didn't. I just assume this thing happens to me at the end of the game where I fast forward too much in my mind, especially when it's close and I need to like dial down and like really think about what I'm doing again. Because I think I would have just straight up killed him with ceaseless rending on the pistol. I think.
Pistol or Fox, dude.
Yeah.
He fucks.
So, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory for that one for myself. But Ben played a great game. He just bullied me with the fucking big bugs and
yeah.
I only killed one big bug, and I think that was it. I killed a bunch of Gribblies.
Wounds, 3-up save, end of 3d3 heal. What do you do?
Yeah,
well, here's the funny thing is you can't do much of anything because as of this point, there is no restriction from resurrecting the same bug multiple times.
Yeah, that was the other thing. He resurrected the big bug twice. And I was like, oh, cool. Where's the other bug?
Because it's not a resurrection. It is a medic revive. Just like Deathcore revives.
Yes.
It's just like Brood Bros revives.
Right, but the fact that the medic is on the other side of the board...
Yeah, as long as you're on the thing, which you should always be on the node matrix. And it works when the target is in melee. It's the only medic revive.
It does not work while the target is in melee. It does not. Also, we've got the fact check police here. Breach can. So here's what's on the breach thing in the Tomb World. If it has breach marker, grenadier, or mine on its data card, or has a weapon with piercing 2 or piercing crits 2 weapon rules, excluded with blast or torrent, can perform the mission action for 1 less action point to a minimum of 1. So piercing crits 2 does help you reduce it, but you cannot stack reduce things on it. You have to spend at least 1 action point to breach open a door.
Yeah. So wait, it specifically says the thing. Also, yes, I was wrong. I skipped over the
So can
two words fucked me.
Can the Deathwatch Breacher do it for free then? No, right?
No. You have to spend an action point to do it.
Does he have something on his data card that specifically doesn't let him do it for free or no? I
don't know. How about you pull up the data card?
Okay, so you can't use a mission action thing to reduce it to 0.
You have it literally says here to a minimum of 1. So to perform the breach action, it is a minimum of 1 action point to do it.
Oh, we've hit a weird thing here because it doesn't.
It's pretty cut and dry, honestly. What does it say on the breacher's data card?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think we've hit a weird one here.
I think it says that because of the breacher veteran, right? So it has a breach in the name, which counts for the breaching walls. And it has a piercing 2 weapon, which counts for the piercing walls.
No, I'm talking about using for the servitor thrall.
Yeah. I'm talking about the breach rule specifically. Don't worry about anything else. I believe the minimum 1 exists because the breacher fulfills 2 of those reduces AP.
Got
things. It. So in theory, if it didn't say minimum 1, it would be free for him naturally because he has breacher in his name and has a piercing 2 weapon.
So can he make it 0 with the free mission action is the question.
I don't know. I haven't pulled it up. I'm not reading the rule.
I mean, I really don't know.
It's a thing for rules lawyers and other Discords to figure out, I think.
Yeah. And frankly, I guess that's not really what we do here is a lot of rules lawyering.
No, and it's an interesting TO interaction. I just thought of it because I just realized something about my game because my opponent did it for free and I didn't realize I didn't even question that.
It's entirely possible that the design space allows it to be free. It is also entirely possible that it's not.
My point is that this event, in some ways, while ran great, was kind of a mess. In the sense,
yeah, of course it was going to be because they're using all the new stuff, and people have had a week maybe.
Yeah, people got stuff wrong. I got stuff wrong.
Everyone got stuff wrong. It's part of the new crit up experience, and we just have to be generous with each other. And give grace. And
either way, I still had a great tournament experience. Like, honestly, my last 3 games were super clean. Didn't have any issues outside of the flank thing at the beginning of the second day. Pretty much everyone got their rules nailed, and it felt exactly as it should. Also, shout out to Cameron, who did very well with Hand of the Archon, and was unfortunately defeated by Tomas and Higher Tech, which if y'all have not played the Higher Tech into any elf team matchup outside of I think Blades, it's rough, dude.
I was shocked at seeing Hand of the Archon up there in the standings. Like, wow, this team does it still have it? Does it still do stuff?
Yeah, it does. So the answer is yes and no, because here's the thing. They're good into elites. They're good into hordes. The minute they run into Necron teams, they die. And it's really that simple.
The problem is, like, their game plan hasn't changed from the beginning of last edition. All they lost was reliability, and they weren't topping the leaderboards before. It's just
I think we're moving into an interesting spot where we're kind of moving back towards the rock paper scissors meta from earlier in the year, because I think one thing that we'll find is like a takeaway from these new crit ops is I think that hordes play the new crit ops really well, and with hordes being like more prevalent, you're going to see more teams like Hand of the Archon, horde slayer type teams do really well. And also, I mean, I think that they are going to they like their seek and destroy tac ups a lot more than they like their old ones.
Yeah,
I think that they're a great team for flank. I think that they're a great team for retrieval.
I think they're a great team for dominate, frankly.
That's what I'm saying, man.
They're an excellent team for dominate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will say, the other thing from this event that takeaway wise, we talk about the rock paper scissors meta. So imagine if you were a rock paper and a scissors, and that's what Canoptic is. And it's honestly probably Hierotech too. We're just in the era of Necron supremacy going into Worlds.
They've got their own map, dude. They literally have home court.
They have home field advantage.
Okay, I will say, this is going to sound bizarre. Hierotech is kind of a pain in the ass, as from the Hierotech's perspective, on Tomb World, because they have nobody that can reduce the breach. They always have to pay 2. There's nobody on the team that reduces it. So, and I believe, and they literally can't command somebody to do it either. So
it costs more than 1 AP.
Yeah, so they have to literally spend their entire activation if it's anybody but
they have a comms,
APL.
Yeah, they've got a comms plug.
Right, but they're also on 5-inch movement most of the time. So what are you doing after that?
Yeah, but they can still dash on turn 1. They can suck it.
Yeah,
it's complicated. Jaegers? Get out of here.
No, I mean I'm just saying on the maps where the breach point is there. And it's blocking you from moving up and doing stuff. It's potentially very exploitable for your opponent, particularly if you have to stack up on that wall to get the breach. Because now, if you blow the wall from the other side, they can potentially take damage and be stunned as well, which is really brutal.
Just win initiative and don't take that side. Easy.
I'm really excited to play more Tomb World games though, because we did play a good number of them at the tournament, and they were.
I liked Tomb Worlds. Yeah, I liked it a lot actually. And I'll straight up say it, don't like Into the Dark. Don't like it, needs to go away. I think Tomb World needs to replace it. I think we have, and I'm going to be very brutally honest. I think GW didn't change the maps for that exact reason. Because they all know we're not playing them already. And if they don't change them and we already aren't playing them, guess what we're going to move to? The improved version of Into the Dark. So
Tomb World is always going to be the improved version of Into the Dark.
Exactly.
That was never. That's not shocking revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just straight up recommend, if you're going to use Into the Dark maps, please just use the Squad Games ones. They're better, not by a whole lot. Some of them are better by quite a bit, but
I like half of the Squad Games ones. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah,
and the other half of the Squad Game one, I'd rather play GW maps.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see a good mix, and I imagine that there's going to be more community-made maps for Tomb World too. I'm really interested to see what kind of community stuff can be made with actual scatter terrain and teleporters, the breach walls, all that sort of shit.
That was one of the other interesting things in this tournament is that we actually used all of the Vulcus maps, all of them.
Yeah.
So
all of them are good.
The whole thing was they wanted to have no repeat maps, so that way you wouldn't play on the same map at 2 or 3 different tables.
Yeah, having 12 Vulcus maps slaps.
Yeah, I really like the new Vulcus maps. I think it's really cool. It has more of a city fight kind of vibe as opposed to.
I will tell you straight up, if y'all hated the melee meta, it's not going to get better. It's really good for melee teams.
Yeah,
yes,
melee records.
Let's go.
If Canoptic have a weakness, it's going to be that. But they have to.
I think that's going to be the thing.
But we'll see. I'm very happy that I got my golden ticket. Y'all have listened to this for a while, know that I've been fighting for this since the beginning of the year. I really love the Florida boys down there. Really happy that, they were such gracious hosts. Great set of players down there. I think they have 4 golden ticket winners down there, I think.
They got a lot of really good players down in Florida.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I got to play some of the best, and I'm really appreciative.
Yeah, same here, man. I got to play against two golden ticket winners as well.
And also, I'll talk about my second to last game, and I think that'll conclude my run, which was into Blades of Cain, and this was on Stake Claim. Stake Claim is very interesting. Stake Claim works basically, you are going to say one of two things. Either you will not control this objective, or your opponent will not control this objective. And you can't do the same one twice.
That's actually a little bit misleading. So you're right. You do have to pick one of two things. It's that either you pick one objective at the start of each strategy phase as a gambit. You cannot repeat objectives to your earlier point. You have to pick all three objectives over the course of turning points 2, 3, and 4. Each player must select one objective marker and one of the following claims. Friendly operatives will control that objective marker, or that enemy operatives won't contest it. So, you can't have enemies on it at all.
Yes, so that is different. So what ended up happening in my game, unfortunately, it was one of the big open GW Into the Dark maps. And I went, okay, my opponent didn't take light barricades. I took light barricades. I put light barricades in 2 of the rooms and didn't put them in the middle room. And I just went, okay, I'm going to plot my sniper and my turret right there, and nobody's going to control that room. Except
no one contests that objective.
But wait, George, I say that, but what I did instead is I got rid of the deploy beacon on my left side, and I put it in the right side, and then for my last activation of the turn, I shifted the beacon into the room, and then dropped somebody on the point and scored it because he said I wasn't going to control it.
Aquilon bullshit, let's go.
Oh, it gets even more brutal. I won initiative on that turn, and because you know who I dropped? I dropped my Melta on that point. So I then I then with the Melta moved over to the door, free mission action to open the door, and there's 2 striking scorpions sitting out in the open, in which I just shot my Melta at. Which unfortunately didn't kill that scorpion because he used the Justice Scratch, but it was a great way to burn their Justice Scratch and leave him on 1 wound. And then also another really brutal thing that happened in that game. He left my knife guy alone for a little too long. I moved over again, free mission action to open the door. We're in control range of a scorpion. I resolve 8 damage before anything else happens. That's a dead scorpion, and that is
Precursor just slaps elves. It's just like,
hey,
that's a shame. If my rending would pop off, blap.
Yes, and I felt really bad for my opponent because he said it straight up. He's like, "You just out activate me," and it's the truth. Yeah. The fact that I out activate them so heavily,
and you're very dangerous to elves.
Yes, and that even the bolters are very dangerous to elves because you can get severe end balanced on it. If it's the start of the turning point, so and then you just take crack grenades, and then if I'm on your side of the board, they're going to become relentless. So it's very hard for a lot of teams to deal with the damage output this fucking team can put out. And people always doubt them on Into the Dark, but it's like, okay, the minute I open that door, I can drop them in anywhere in that beacon. I can move the beacon through the wall as much as I want. It's just, all you gotta do is just remember to keep the door open, and then all of a sudden you can drop them anywhere within 3 inches. 4 if it's a trooper, 5 if you want to get cheeky and steal an objective from somebody. They're just super flexible. Even onto Tomb World, same thing. The fact that you can just keep them in the side rooms and just whenever you're ready, shift it into the middle room to do something stupid, like for example, drop a melt in, kill the Hand of the Archon leader. It's hard to counteract.
Because you need to know it's coming. I think the biggest thing that I do not see Aquilon's players that go from good to great, I see good Aquilon's players, but what great Aquilon's players do is they shift their token horizontally, and I almost never see anyone use that equipment. Everyone takes it, no one uses it.
It's
so
critical
strong
to playing the team well, honestly.
Every single game, it was a critical play on my part. Every single time. Because I'm trying to think. Game 1, that's how I got my point on my first point on retrieval. Game 2, that's how I blasted the door open and killed his sergeant. Game 3, that's how I was able to get the grenadier within 6 inches of the big bug. And that was the other thing. I dropped a fucking stun grenade on the big bug because he was right next to the medic bug, and I stunned the big bug, didn't score the baby bug, and I was like, or stunned the baby bug. I'm like, fuck. But still, I ended up winning initiative, or no, I'm sorry. I dropped it last activation, and then I won initiative, and then did that. Because here's the thing, I was like, the bug was on full health. What am I going to do? Drop the Melt-A-Bomb on the bug and do maybe half? Like, it's not going to kill him. Like, there's no way it's going to kill him. Yeah. Because I think, what is it? It's 5/6 the Melt-A-Bomb, something like it's
5/3 Dev 3 piercing 2. Yeah.
So even if I get, that's 20 wounds with no crits. So I need a crit to even have a chance of killing him, and he has to not save. So I was like, okay, so the
and then the medic could just revive him from halfway across the board.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I did not drop a stun grenade. I dropped a frag grenade. I dropped a frag grenade onto the big bug that hit his leader, the tiny bug, and him. And I put the bug on fucking like two or four wounds. And I think I even took four wounds off the leader randomly. And even Ben was like, "Oh, I
dude, when frags spike, it's the best."
I mean, it was hitting on three. It was hitting on threes. I had a hot drop ready to go relentless, and it didn't matter, unfortunately. But you know, and fun thing about the grenadier, and this will be the last point I make. He has all of the grenades. He has smoke, stun, frack, crack, and as far as I saw, you can use them unlimited amount of times.
Mm-hmm. Dude, people think the Melt-A-Bomb is the thing that makes a grenadier good. The Melt-A-Bomb is the worst part of his kit.
Yes,
he's got unlimited crack grenades hitting on threes, unlimited stuns, unlimited smokes. He's so good, even if he never had a Melt-A-Bomb.
Yeah, I had a lot of opponents go, "Oh, I thought you didn't take stuns." I'm like, "Well, he has stuns," and it's like, "Oh, because people always forget that." Or you didn't take, good. I thought you didn't take smokes. You're right. I didn't take smokes. He has smoke grenades. So you know, Aquilons are a ton of fun. And that being said, unfortunately, I really don't think I can take them to Worlds as much as I want to. I think against like world-class players, and for clarity, Ben is a world-class player. He just started playing the team, unfortunately. So I think if he had 10 more games on me, I don't think it would have been close, to be honest. Because there were just a few times where I just saw like he was like really getting the flow of the team, and I went, man, if he was like on the ball with the team, like he had a lot of games on this team, I would have been fucked. So I'm probably going to be switching to Canoptic because I just think I want to have the best chance of doing the best.
Canoptic, I think, is probably the best team in the game at the moment.
And I don't care if I have to do a bunch of Canoptic mirrors to get through 10 rounds.
Dude, that sounds awful.
It really does.
No, but here's the thing.
It's rough.
If we recall, the fucking one of the last games at Worlds a couple years ago was fucking Chaos Colt's mirror. Like,
I thought that sounds fun, at least.
Yeah, stuff's happening. It's not just two bugs fighting.
The only mirror that sounds more awful is the Ravener mirror.
Oh, it is. Everybody I've ever talked to regarding the Ravener mirror, it's been fucking miserable for them.
It's just boring, I imagine.
So I was gonna, I didn't get a chance to make this point on State Claim. State Claim is really good on a team where you don't know where they're going to be. Turning point 2. Yeah. And it lets
will out-activate you.
Yes. Yeah, I think State Claim is a terrible mission for like low body count teams. Like, frankly, this is one of the worst ones for elites. It's
so bad.
It's a fun mission though. I like it's like an interesting concept for sure.
If you're playing Phobos, get fucked. Like you need durability to stand on those points, and
well, luckily Phobos won't have to worry about it for another couple months.
Yeah. But like honestly, like even Deathwatch just struggle to really stake their claim.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes to go over 3 more crit ups. So let's start off. We got Orb, guys. We got
let's ponder some orbs.
Yeah. So the center objective has the orb at the start of the battle, and you can move the orb for 1 action point. If the active operative controls that objective marker and it has the orb token, move it as follows. If it's on the center, move it to your opponent's objective, or actually you can move it to either player objective. That's kind of cool, I guess. Or if it's on one of the, sort of home objectives for either player, you can move it back into the center, right? You can't do it during the first turning point or while within control range of enemies, or if the objective marker doesn't have the orb. And at the end of each turning point for each objective marker that friendly operatives control, that does not have the orb, you score a victory point. So this is a max 2 points for whoever during the turn. There's only going to be 2 points per turn scored on this.
Yeah, I like this one. It seems silly in the best way.
I would never, if I was a TO, take this for a tournament. I think it's...
I run this in every tournament.
I think it's great.
It seems so silly. It seems so great. So far, I've liked every crit op we've talked about, and I would happily run every one of them for a tournament.
I also think it's bad for tournaments to say we're not going to play these crit ops because you're literally boxing teams out. Like
I know there were some pretty respectable players who just never played Extraction because people were like, Extraction! Extraction is a good mission. It was a totally fine mission.
It's the Felgor of missions. You just have to play it differently.
I could not disagree more. Extraction is one of the worst missions.
It's one of the better missions because it requires you to think about the game in a way that is not the same as every other mission.
There's also teams that do not do anything else well but play Extraction. That's the thing. Kinband and Rattlings play that mission exceptionally well.
And Salvagers. Some teams have bonuses. Now, in the new
any mission where it is nearly impossible for a team to win on that versus a competent player is not a good mission, in my opinion.
I mean, here's the thing. It just changes the meta.
Extraction work.
Yeah.
Extraction was never, I'm going to win because I have this team. It is, do I know how to play Extraction? Well, I've played Extraction a lot. I know how to play Extraction. I'm probably going to win if you have not played Extraction. But if we both played Extraction a lot, it's just another mission. We just have to play it differently. Which is why it was actually a very good mission. People just...
I disagree. I think...
They got their... because they get their Jimmies and a Russell because it doesn't play like any... it doesn't play like Loot. It doesn't play like Transmission or whatever. And nobody took the time to figure it out.
Exactly.
No, I mean, what is to figure out?
The order of operations. It's just
order of operations. You have to control and perform the mission action, not on your home objective.
How often
first.
I've abused Extraction on people?
Yeah, it's because they don't play it. I did the same thing.
Exactly.
They didn't play it, and they didn't know it.
You shouldn't be I don't know. You shouldn't be punished for not...
If you hadn't literally never played Kill Team, and let's say Loot was a brand new mission you'd never played before, and you're playing Loot for the very first time against somebody who's played Loot 100 times, do you think you're going to play Loot better than them?
Yeah.
Loot is there is nothing hard about understanding what Loot is.
I'm just going to disagree with you here, Joe, because if you're a newer player, you don't understand the order of operations. That's the thing. Loot is a mission where you have to understand the order of operations. If you have first activation, you're going to loot the objective that your opponent is going to try and contest. If you're a newer player and your opponent leaves a bait model out, then they're going to take that. What is the math of
understanding that if you out-activate me on Extraction, I'm going to lose the crit op?
Because that's not how that works.
Yeah.
I've won Extraction with elite teams. I've been out-activated like hell, and I have an overwhelming win percentage on Extraction with Legionary against pretty much everything.
But that's just because you're a better player.
Activation didn't matter at all.
That's because you're
because I played Extraction a lot and they didn't.
But from everything I have seen at high-level events, every time that this mission has come up, it has been miserable for both players particularly because of the teams that
Probably because they don't play Extraction.
Probably because they don't play Extraction. I've played Extraction at events, and I always have a great time.
Y'all heard the audible groan when Extraction was announced at Nova.
I had a great time.
And that's the thing is and again, this is a point. It's if you're not running Extractions at your events, that's fine. It's if you don't want to do that, and if you don't want to run orb at your events, that's fine too. But I mean, you cannot be mad at people who do run it because it's quite literally a legal mission, and it is that's the thing. All of these missions are good because it's changing the way we play. Extraction changed the way that the meta worked. And teams were good last edition partly because they played Extraction well. I'm not saying those teams that I mentioned earlier, like Rattlings and Kinband. They would have
been good if people played Extraction.
Yeah, exactly.
So was Horde meta good last edition because of how much they dominated capture?
No, because there was no capture last.
No, it's because they dominated the loot.
They dominated the loot. They dominated secure. There was also 6 objectives. That's why hordes were good last edition, is because you were able to spread out and control more of the board.
It has nothing to do with the number of objectives,
right? But you still have the same. You still have the same problem with a lot of these new missions, and I think what you're gonna see is outside of probably, well, honestly, all of them. I think elites are about to take a major hit, to be honest, because a lot of these missions are kind of just capture with extra steps.
I think that's probably fine.
I think it's also true. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't think you're correct to the degree that it will make such a huge difference that elites are not viable.
The only, in my opinion, the only 2 elite teams that are viable right now are Nemesis Claw and Death Watch. I guess Raveners, we count that as well because Raveners are an elite team.
Well, I mean, they're going to be like the only elite teams that exist pretty soon.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, Angels of Death sucked before the approved ops change, and Plague Marines got nerfed pretty hard.
Yeah, the Angels of Death and Plague Marine nerfs seem so much stranger in hindsight now.
We're getting so far afield from the crit ops.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just it's tangible. It's related enough. So like my point is that like we are entering a very new field right now. I think the teams that are good are still good. But I do think there's going to be a few sneaky sleeper teams that are going to be able to do these new TAC ops very well. I think that if you have been waiting to play Brood Brothers or Inquisition, or I would say even probably Ratlings, I would give them a try now because of how good, those teams are.
I still don't know how Ratlings play the objective. Like, I don't know how Ratlings get to the objective.
It is weird. I think you do have to like actually move up the board with the Ratlings. And I mean, they're going to be better because they do get a 5th equipment choice. But I think like what I've done with Ratlings, I think is the wrong thing. I've kind of moved up a little bit too aggressively early, and you don't want to lose Ogren's turn 2.
So I'm going to say something. Maybe that is.
Remember, Mark doesn't want to edit this.
This is not. I would say controversial. I would say that this is just the way it's going to happen. So, I think a lot of people, both of you, people really like Space Marines, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I hate Space Marines. I'm a noted Space Marine hater.
Do you
they have
think,
spikes?
Based on the percentage play numbers over the history of this game, Death Watch is probably going to hit like 15 to 20% of the meta?
That's high, but I think that it's going to be high. It's not that high. I think it'll be like 10 to 11%.
I think it'll be just as high as Plague Marines and Angels.
I
think because it's a 5-body team and anybody can really proxy them with any Space Marines they've got lying around.
Yes.
I think Death Watch is the new Angels of Death. I think that's just going to happen.
1,000% agreed. So, what I was going to say is that you, dear listener, if you're listening to this right now, and you want to just stomp your local meta completely, just take a Noctic. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to see a ton of Death Watch players going, oh, it's a Xenos team. I'll throw Higher Tech in this category as well. Oh, it's a Xenos team. I'm going to be great into them. And then they're going to lose 2 models and 2 activations because of how insane their shooting is. And then they lose the game. So my point is that like Death Watch honestly did terrible at this event. We had, I think, 1 in the top cut, and I mean like top 30.
I was actually surprised. I was a little surprised at how not well Death Watch did. But looking at, because this is the full disclosure for me, this is really the first time I'm taking a look at these crit ops in depth. And I'm looking at them and going, five bodies seems rough for this.
Yeah. That was my big takeaway from the tournament, is that I think that Raveners still play really well, but whereas like before they played the old crit ops really well, they do not play these new crit ops really well. Yeah, I mean, I think they're still fine on like secure loot, kind of okay on transmission. It depends, but like a lot of these like capture style missions, energy cells we talked about, that's kind of like a capture style mission where you score points for being on objectives and controlling more than your opponent. Same with state claim. Same with state claim. Kind of the same thing with Orb to an effect. Like you have to be in the kill zone and on points to score a lot of these missions. And so like 5-body teams, while they're going to be good, I think they're going to have a hard time. I mean, Canoptech being the exception because obviously you just have the dorks to go out there and stand on objectives for you.
But they can also still do mission objections, right? The dorks can.
Yeah, they're full.
Score.
They're operatives. They do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They are an 8-body team that has the kill up of a 5-body team, and like a power of a 6-body team.
And they can go to 9 activations with the skip.
Yeah, and it's just very strong. They're a very strong team.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Canoptech because, like, the
quick fix is make the turrets like 18 wounds.
That's what I was thinking because, like
that's an easy fix. It's a lazy fix. If they don't want to rewrite a bunch of stuff, just make them slightly less durable, and that should make that much more feasible for teams to get to grips with them.
Yes. So I mean, this, like I said, this was a great event. I think that
we still have to talk about 2 more crit ups. We can't just abandon these crit ups.
All right. Which
we said last episode we're going to talk about the crit ups.
Yeah.
So we have download. We haven't talked about that yet. So download is the mission action download for 1 action point, and you can only do it. It says 1 center or opponent's objective marker of the active operative controls. I don't know why they worded it in that way, but that's the way they worded it. You can't do it on the first or second turning point, or while within control range of an enemy operative, or if that objective marker has already been downloaded during the battle. So at the end of each turning point, after the first, if friendly operatives control more objective markers than enemies do, score a victory point. Pretty standard in most of these.
Are we seeing a trend?
Crit ops. And you ignore downloaded objective markers when determining this. So on turn 2, since you cannot do download on turn 2, this is just how you score on turn 2. Mm-hmm. Whenever you perform the download action during the 3rd turning point, score a victory point. Whenever a friendly operative performs the download action during the 4th turning point, score 2. I like this mission.
Yes, I like it too. Mm-hmm. I think it adds a level of complexity to being on the objectives. That's actually interesting.
It's chicken the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because you could, if you control all 3 objectives on turn, so control more on your opponent on turn 2, score 1, they score 0. Control more, if you control all 3 on turn 3, you score 2. And then download all 3 objectives, you now score 5, and they will get 0, but you're not going to max out. So, like, I think if you can just control the objectives on turn 2 and then download everything on turn 3, then you guarantee a 5-0 split on that.
This facilitates another thing. I think it's bad for elites again. Because you have a little bit. You have to,
but it's also not so bad. This actually reminds me a lot of Extraction, because Extraction, when I'm playing them with like Legionary, my goal was to search my opponent's objective marker on turn 2, and generally I was able to do that unless they were very, very competent at Extraction. Then I would have to put a bunch of models up to force them. Off the board, but I'd still be extracting on turn 3 the latest.
I will say straight up, like, the reason a lot of the way these missions are, if you're playing Deathwatch, I think the Omni Scramble is so mandatory for missions, particularly like this, so that if, a Horde player just plops a guy, make sure he's visible and make sure if they win initiative off the rip, they're going to have to put another guy on that point, so that way you're able to set up a double kill. So at the very least, you're getting something for it, right? Yeah. Or you shut them down, you can go steal it, whatever, right?
Yeah, I think the Disruptor is, because of the way these missions work, the Disruptor is mandatory in most of them.
Particularly, this is also really good, particularly hiding in melee and doing the mission objective, risking losing the free mission objective.
Wait, you can't perform the download on your home objective. You can only download your opponent's objective.
Or the center objective.
Or the middle.
Or the middle. Interesting. So, you probably want to try and download your opponent's objective on turn 3 and keep the middle for turn 4. But even if you get the middle on turn 3, and keep your home objective, you'll control more than your opponent.
You get
and
you
can
get
max
2
out.
VP regardless of which gets booped, right, on Turning Point 4?
Yes. Or if you do both on Turning Point 4, you get 4.
So here's the thing. If I've scored 2 points on it already, from between like 3 and 2, I don't think I'd boop the button. I think I would just like wait, and then like if I'm playing an aggressive team, make that push to go for 6. If I'm a Quillons in particular, right? Because this is another great one where, prioritized objective. My guys count as 1 extra on the point, so I can get 2 idiots onto the point. Now I'm counting as 5 on the point. So now it's forcing either you to put another body on the point or put an extra Marine on the point, which plays into like Aquilon's aggressive shooting style. There's a lot of things you can do to manipulate this and play around with it.
I like this mission a lot. I think it's very cerebral.
Yes, it forces your opponent they can't play defensively on this mission. Because if you play too defensively, you're just going to lose.
Also, as a Rekkas player, I like that a lot of these crit ops are just control more objectives to score something.
Yes.
Because fuck, Rekkas can't do mission actions, dude.
Yes.
I'm so bad at it.
Thinking about it too, I think honestly, if you do want to play this one defensively, just focus on the home objective and the middle objective.
Yeah, I have to focus on the middle.
And then just get your 4 points at the end.
Yeah.
So I think that if that's how you want to play it, and then just let your opponent like funnel into your point and just kind of deal with that, you can do that too. A lot of different things you can do on this mission.
Last but not least, we have Data, which I managed to play in a practice game early last week. It's kind of like the new Intel, which, as another mission that was debated as whether or not it was good last approved ops, but I always liked Intel. So with Data, for 1 action point, you can compile data. You do it on an objective marker that the active operative controls, and that objective marker gains 1 data point. You cannot do this while within control range of enemy operatives during the first turning point, or if that objective marker has already gained a data point during this turning point. So these are points that you or your opponent can stack on the point, right? You can also send data during the 4th turning point for 1 action point. Remove all data points from an objective marker the active operatives controls. Cannot do this during the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd turning point. All the other usual restrictions. Victory points are scored by, at the end of the 2nd and 3rd turning point, if friendly operatives have performed more compiled data actions during that turning point than enemy operatives have, you score 1 VP. So if you do that mission action more than your opponent, it's not being on objectives. If you do that more, kind of like loot, you score 1 victory point. And then you can score victory points during the 4th turning point. Whenever a friendly operative performs the send data action point, you score a number of victory points equal to the number of data points removed. So I like that you're still playing for the end of the game like you were with Intel. I like that it's not just like, be on the objective. You still have to kind of budget out your action economy to go and do this. But I also like how it isn't just playing for the end of the game. You are rewarded for doing the mission action, actually compiling up the points. Because that was the thing. People were always talking about how, you could just ignore the crit op last approved ops.
Intel or whatever, where you push the button and you only score by controlling at the end of the game.
Exactly.
So, like, the best way to play that mission is let your opponent do it and then kill him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can still play this the same way. You can let your opponent load up on the points and then go sweep it up at the end of the game. But your opponent, if they're doing that thing more than you throughout the course of the game, they're still going to rack up some points on the way.
Yeah, so that's why I said this is like updated Intel. It's not as bad.
Yeah, I think this is probably the weakest mission of the 9, and that it's still a good mission. It's still fun. As a Rekkas player, man, this sucks. I can't do mission actions. But, it's still a good mission.
Yeah, this was really good for Raveners, I think. Those capture style missions Raveners don't like, but stuff like this, I think they're really going to enjoy.
Something you can just push a button real quick and then dip out. Yeah.
We're going to have lots more thoughts on the crit ops and the tac ops and all that stuff next week. Hopefully we're going to have some reflections after playing more and more games with them. But yeah, just a quick heads up. I had such a blast at Crucible. Really, really enjoy spending all the time with the Florida boys. Shout out to everyone I played. I played Andres in round 1. I played Battle Brothers Ben. I played, who else did I play? I played Vaughn in round 2, another golden ticket winner. We had a really great game. played Jeremiah round 3. And gosh, and I played John round 5, and I played, I think his name was Doug round 6. They were just all just amazing people, and really looking forward to hopefully getting our Kill Team communities connected a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah, we love fucked over here.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Vox Screen. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please follow, subscribe, and leave us a review. Any of those things are going to help us grow. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with another episode.